Hello, everybody. This is Alex Tomaszewska, your online confidence coach. And today I have the big pleasure of interviewing Daniel Gallagher here with us. Daniel is an entrepreneur with a prosperous online business that's prosperous even now in times of the outbreak of the coronavirus. And Dan is going to share with us the lessons he took from the financial crisis of 2008 in the US and how he has shaped his multiple streams of income. Thank you very much for meeting with me today, Daniel.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, so let's get you started right away. Your story is pretty inspiring, so that's why I wanted to interview you. And thank you for coming out, because you came to me, and I wanted to point out to other people that whoever you are, your story can be an inspiration to others. And I think this is going to be a great example of that. So it starts with the crisis of 2008. So what happened with you, with your finances, to you and your family there?
Well, yeah, back in 2008, I used to own a mortgage company, and that was prior to 2008. So I ended up, I had everything invested into this company and at a good living. Everything was, going well. And then all of a sudden, the market crashes. 2008 comes by, and I owned a mortgage company, so all the mortgage companies, started folding and all that stuff. So my life took a dramatic change in the negative, meaning that I almost lost everything I had. The strongest thing I had going for me was my family, and everybody's, we stuck together and stuff like that. But that was definitely a tough time and stuff like that. So after that happened, I was trying to find different, things to do. At first I tried to, just make sure that whatever I did, I try to provide for the family, be safe, and do all that stuff. So, I almost lost everything. I took on a job that I didn't really like doing.
What was the
And I
job?
ended up, well, I was working, I was doing flipping houses. Like when I left the actual, the crisis, I
Hmm.
ended up buying and selling houses, but, it was a lot of work. I was working 10, 12 hours a day. Um, I ended up getting financing to do so from different people, but the market was pretty rough. I mean, there was no money coming in, there was no jobs. So I was doing a lot of construction work and stuff like that, during that
Mm-hmm.
time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I turned around and we ended up buying and selling a bunch of houses. And then the market changed again. The prices of the houses went up and down or whatever. Um, and let's take a step back. I come from 13 kids, never really grew up with money. Big family, Irish Catholic, American, the whole nine yards. So, during that time, it took a little bit of time. So, one of the things after I started doing the house flipping stuff, I ended up going into the insurance business, and I took on a job doing insurance. And it was a job like one where they want you to be there 7 days a week. You have to
Mm-hmm.
hustle, you got to do everything. And it was okay. It wasn't, what I wanted to do. So then when I actually spoke to somebody else, like that was in the industry, they had a different perspective of the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up doing Medicare. So if you know anything about insurance and how that works, it's 100% commission. So I end up having to, um, build my book of business. So while I was building the book of business, I thought, what a great idea to start an online company doing, stuff online and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? With, what I was doing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So where
So
does that idea for online come? Did you see like a business opportunity there, or did you think, okay, everything is online now, so I should go online?
Well, at first I thought it was something to complement my other business because the insurance business takes time to build. So I didn't have as many
Mm-hmm.
clients in the beginning, and what I needed to do is try to bring in more income while I was trying to build my book of business. So
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's how it came about. That was the thing, and I thought, hey, look, I'm going to take some cell phones and stuff like that, some simple things that everyone needs or has, and try to sell them and kind of flip them for money, buy them, unlock them, do whatever I need to do. Throughout the process, I went and I needed one of the thermal printer that basically prints out the shipping labels. So I ended up looking for one of these printers, and I ironically, I see a guy selling 5 of them. He had a 30-day return policy on them. He said it wasn't sure if they were working, and it was about $180 for about 5 of the printers.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, the normal price I should have paid was about $120 for each one. So I
Mm-hmm.
turned around and I bought the 5. I was able to get 4 of the 5 to work. I used the printer I wanted myself, and then I ended up selling the other ones. And then there was I guess there was a latch that was broken on the last one, and I was able to go onto YouTube and learn how to fix it just by watching videos that people had already posted on there. So
Right.
needless to say, I was able to sell all those printers, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. I just made some quick money, and it helped me on the side. So I turned around and I found another deal that was kind of similar, where the guy was selling a few printers, and I ended up selling them. The trick that I did is that they had a return policy, so that I knew that I wouldn't lose if I couldn't figure out how to either fix it or whatever. So when I was buying them, I
I
was literally
see.
buying them online, and
Uh-huh.
I was buying them untested, and I learned how to test them. So after me doing this, I was working out of my house a little bit doing it, and I was still building the other business up. So after a while, this business has been open roughly about a little bit about 5 years. I got incorporated a year after I started because it was getting very big. So I went through the legal documents to make sure everything was legit and stuff like that.
Right.
So this business, since I started, I've been crushing it. My sales right now on there are about $80,000 to $100,000 per month. I sell in different venues like eBay, Amazon, Etsy,
Mm-hmm.
Newegg, just different sites.
Etsy.
Um,
Oh, I had no idea
Ironically,
you could
Etsy,
even do that on Etsy.
I think I've sold over like 60 or 70 printers on Etsy, and I have, I think, 100% positive feedback there.
Mm.
My eBay account has 100% positive feedback. So I work very hard to try to make the experience, I guess, good for my buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not generally the cheapest in what I do, but I create little things, and I take extra steps to try to assist them in setting these units up. They're not the easiest to set up.
Mm.
So I sell quite a bit right now. And one of the good things about the business is that my margins are very nice on there. Despite me saying, okay, I sell about $1 million a year, my profit margins are anywhere from 200 to 300% per unit. So
And
when I'm
that's
all said and done,
important why you set those margins there, because can we stop for a second here? Because when we were talking, um, the first time it also hit me for many people. Many people think of small margins like a couple dozen percent maybe would be already a big margin, and here you are setting a large margin on whatever you're selling your printers in this case. But there's a good reason for that, and the reason is to cover the risk.
yeah. So
Mhm.
everything, one of the important things that I have on this is that, like one of the good points that I've learned through this process is to buy smart and sell. I mean, I could be a horrible salesman, and if I buy these things at the right price and the margins are there, I'm still going to make my profits.
Mhm.
Despite if there's issues that happen, say I send one of these units out, the postman comes and they beat that thing up, and all of a sudden it gets returned to me, and I have this printer that's busted up. I still have value in that printer, meaning I could still take the parts off that unit and resell them and still double or triple my money without
Mm.
any issues. So the
Mhm.
margins in any business are key. If you're going out and doing online business and you're trying to do this, you can't have a 7 or 10% margin. It's just not possible. It's
Mhm.
not worth the effort unless you're selling, millions of these items. And in the beginning of doing this, chances are most people that are getting into this business, they're doing it out of their house. They're doing it out of, out of this. That kind of brings me to another thing
Mhm.
when I started this, I started doing this out of my house, and I needed to have the support of my wife and my family to be able to do this.
Yeah.
That's a big key thing in this too. You definitely got to buy smart, and your margins have to be calculated. You're going to have a little bit of theft. You're going to have returns. You're going to have damage. You're going to have things in there. And if you're making simply 7 or 10% margins on what you're doing, it's just not going to add up at the end of the day
Mhm.
when something bad happens, or if
Mhm.
something bad happens.
Mhm.
And that's important in this.
Mhm. Mhm. So how was the support of your family looking like for you? Well, I mean, I'm
Well,
assuming it's not always peachy when you're starting, especially starting from a point of crisis where everybody's just, it's just fear and nerves and chaos, just like the
yeah.
situation that we are right in which we are right now. Hmm.
Yeah, in the beginning it was very stressful, and that's the thing. If you're thinking of getting into online business or small business in this type, you're going to want to make sure that you have the support of your family. You're going to have to level it out beforehand. It's so important that they know what you're doing to be able to help you. Because here's the thing. I mean, it started off with a couple of these things. The next thing you know, every counter in my house is filled with these printers, and you can't even function. So that was a problem. And we communicated that. I said, hey, look, this is going to get tough. This isn't going to be easy. We're going to have to manage. We live in a smaller space, so you got to figure out solutions on this. You have to have your costs low, so your overhead's got to be low,
Mm.
and you got to be able to maximize your profit any way you can. And I didn't have money to have a commercial facility, which now I do. I've purchased in the last year. I've purchased a commercial facility where I operate out of, and I have employees and the whole nine yards. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. You couldn't. You have to be definitely have to have support from your family. That's so important in this process, because when the money doesn't come in the beginning, that's a hard thing. Because all of a sudden you're gonna try to go on this business. You're gonna think, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm immediately gonna make money. You're gonna run
Mhm.
into obstacles left and right. You're gonna run into situations where it's not always the easiest to get out of, good or bad. And then there's some sales that you make that you're like, I just killed it. I just made 400% markup on this, and oh my god, I can't believe I did that. I wish I could do more things like that. And then you tend to find yourself trying to duplicate those procedures, if that
Uh-huh.
if that
Uh-huh.
so
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So as you're saying, first of all, one of the things that you did after the crisis was you've done a tremendous amount of learning new skills, uh, construction, then the insurances, then having your own business. You had to learn how to fix the printers, etc., etc. So it's always about learning, and then you learn from whatever happened in your business, whether it was a profit or lack of profit. You keep learning and keep growing, and that seems to be the recipe for success. I mean, one important factor. The other one, just to give a quick summary in the middle, the other one is having your family on board, having that support, because the business is
yes.
tough. So you don't need it to be tough at home. Additionally, so you want to communicate well with your partner, your wife, your husband. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's absolutely the thing. The other thing too that I'd like to kind of just mention on this is you should take pride in what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another key factor in this. And people that actually are out there selling stuff online, if they're just doing a quick flip or whatever, I've managed to take one line of products and kind of take pride in them. I package them well. I do things, I make sure that everything, is the way that I would want to do it if I purchased it. So that's a big thing in this too, and that could go negative against you if all of a sudden you're selling things online and you have horrible feedback. You tell them you're going to ship it out within one day and it takes 3 days to do it, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever else is happening. I mean, you pretty much got to do things in the way that it does. Take the extra steps, make sure the feedback's good, follow up with your customers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of work in trying to maintain a good image as well. And a lot of times, if you can do that, you can demand more price in what you're trying to do. And I think that's a huge advantage to what we have. On most of our platforms, we have very, very high feedback. I know on our eBay, we have 100%. I know on the Etsy, 100%. I know on Newegg, I think the same. I don't think we have much negative, if any. I mean, obviously you're going to get it, so
You
it's going to
are,
happen somewhere.
yes, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but that's important too.
Mm-hmm. 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 Awesome. That's really great advice. I had a question in my mind, but it just slipped my mind. So I was gonna ask, so right now your business is still operating even though everything is on lockdown. So you can say, I mean, you mentioned that you kind of lucked out because you have this kind of business that still keeps operating because those printers, I mean, the couriers and mail still operates and everybody's sending packages and ordering
Yeah.
things online, right? So the business still operates because the printers are needed right now in the
Yeah.
online world. So you made a decision a while back, and then now it's holding you. But it's not just that. Also, another your other source of income is the money that you're still getting as a
Yeah.
residual income from your insurance. And I think you have a couple other things going. And I wanted to underline here in this interview how important it is to have multiple streams of
Oh,
income
yes.
secured. Hmm.
Yes, that is so important right now. My insurance company right now, I do Medicare healthcare in the United States here. I collect a check with my residual income for a good amount of money, more than triple of what my monthly expenses are. And that has to do with me taking, building up a book of business on the insurance. And now it's pretty recession proof, meaning that everybody still needs health care here, and I'm still getting
Yeah.
paid by the companies. So that's a big thing that I've been able to build both of these companies. I didn't expect both these companies to shoot up as high as they have. It just wasn't in my thing. I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just do this on the side to subsidize my income.
Yeah.
And then the printers ended up turning into like, a ridiculously good paying, job industry, and a lot of the things that we're providing things for, shipping labels for different types of, like these printers are thermal printers, they're not ink. So they have, they provide shipping labels. They also do like pharmacy labels on the prescriptions.
Mm,
They also
mhm,
do like they're good for hospitals and stuff like that. We sent a bunch down to FEMA when they had the hurricanes and stuff, and they were using them to make name badges and stuff, and all this stuff. So there's a lot of different uses for these printers, and we're kind of in the exception where we're allowed to stay open based on these exceptions or based on what we sell, and it fits to it. So I've quarantined basically my office, meaning that nobody can really come in or out other than the employees. And even when they take lunches, unfortunately, they can't leave the facility.
mhm.
So on the flip side, they're still getting paid during this time when a lot of people are going on unemployment and not being able to
Yes.
work. But kind of going back to your thing with the multiple streams of income,
Mhm,
I always believe in not putting all your eggs in one basket.
mhm,
You can't put everything into one, thing and just assume this was. Back in 2008, after that mortgage crisis happened, and I almost lost everything I had, I was able to not only rebound from there, but I was able to get two different types of industries that are both paying me very, very well to do what I'm doing. And I'm not here to brag or anything like that, but even if one of them is down, I can still make money from the other one to be able to survive. So that
mhm,
that balances out very, very well. And I'm
mhm.
very fortunate for it. I mean, because any one of these industries could flop at, any time or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But 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 it's not, it's calculated though. So I mean, I've done this. I prepped for this when this happened after the 2008 crisis. I'm like, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm not going to let me almost lose everything I've worked so hard for, and
Mhm,
and lose it again. And that's why I've taken the steps to do things the way that they have. They took an unusual turn, but in the positive way.
mhm, mhm. Yes, and as you mentioned, and we discussed it before, you are very much a numbers man. So everything has to be calculated, and so your profits, your margins, etc. That's just calculation. That's how business works, and you need to remember about that if you want to secure your future. It's crucial.
That is
Mhm,
very crucial. I
mhm,
can't even emphasize that anymore. I mean, more than what you just said. I mean, you gotta have everything calculated. Somebody's gonna scam you online. If you're gonna get into this business, don't take it to heart. Have it calculated. You're gonna get returns. You're gonna get damages. You're gonna get. You might even get employees stealing from you. You might get whatever. I mean, depending on how far you take this or how big it is, you'll get people that order things from you. They'll box back, a different unit that you never sent them. You just got to take the
mhm,
precautions. You got to make sure it's calculated. I mean, we jot down the serial numbers of every unit. We have cameras when the orders go out. We have video um, evidence of us shipping them. That way, if it ever became in question, that we protect ourselves. But if somebody's going to steal from you, you can't make that be your whole business. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
If you can't put yourself in the line to lose that. So make sure that everything you do is calculated. And that way when the margins don't go in your favor, you're still ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome advice. And I want to point out one more thing that came to me during our last conversation. That your values need to be incorporated in everything you do, and it just makes everything so much easier. You come up as genuine online. People don't have a chance to meet you, so they only see your online presence. But as long as your values and you feel internally that your business goes in line with your values, then then you're gonna feel okay with it, even if you start making a lot of money. So you're not facing any issue with making that money, because you take pride in what you do and it's according to your values. And I know that's, for example, one of your values is giving back, and you're quite big on that, and that's why you wanted to give back your knowledge here during this interview. But your company also does some really fun things for charity.
Yes. So last year, in actually the last 3 years, we've given back to charity. The first year we didn't have as much, to give to them, so we didn't really do a whole bunch. Over the past 2 years, each year we shut down our staff in December. We go to the local food bank and we donate, meals and stuff. I think we did 5,000 meals last year, and it's at the food bank. And then we volunteer our time, and we actually pass out the stuff to people in need and stuff like that. That's one of the charities that we do. Right now, I'm running a charity that's going to help the coronavirus. I've got T-shirts that we're selling, and we're donating some of the proceeds to the charities and stuff like that. There's different things that we do, and we try to give back as much as possible. We're very fortunate to have what we have, and honestly, it's the right thing to do. I get emotional with that type of stuff. I really, anytime that, like the meals and stuff like that, anytime you can help somebody get ahead in their life, or even survive or whatever, you have no idea how that makes them feel. And, firsthand, I'm sitting there, I'm handing out canned goods and I'm handing out stuff, and we've donated all this stuff. It's humbling, and the fact that you really want to help people that need or whatever. So we believe in it, and our whole staff goes through and we do it. And we even pay our staff to go out and do it. We don't say, hey, do this, whatever. We say, okay, you're going to do it. They volunteer to do it, but our staff is paid. We just go out there and we do it. We do the right thing. Sometimes that makes the difference in people's lives, and we take pride in that. And obviously, if you're in the beginning of this stage, you may not be able to give much, but your simple acts and your simple things that you do can make a big impact.
We can always donate your time. It's time actually is one of the most valuable things in this world today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome that you incorporate these values, and so your employees live by these values as well. I think that's really important, and it's a sign of great leadership. So your website, I think it's barcodeearth.com. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
barcodeearth.com.
mhm.
And,
And
and
so
Barcode Earth we're a subsidy of Refurb World is the name of our parent company, but Barcode Earth is the one that we specialize in with thermal printers. It's out there. You can look at it,
mhm.
and it's functional. Everything's good with it. We get a lot of business on there. It's a nice site. Everything's good.
Yes, I had a look. It's a nice site. We will post a link to this under the interview. And if anybody is interested in supporting people by buying the t-shirts that you just mentioned, are they also available somewhere there on the website?
It's not going to be on that website, but I can forward you a link or whatnot on there,
Right.
where you can buy them. The problem is that we have them in the United States. I know you have clients all over, so I mean, I guess we could probably ship international if we had to, but realistically, they're mainly in the States.
I have a lot of
So,
a big audience in the US. Yeah.
yeah. So I'll get you a link on there if anybody's interested in it. We're donating as much as we can um, towards the charity. I think it's only like I think we're charging about $17 a shirt or something like that. And I think about $3 to $5 of that is going towards the charity.
Hmm.
So and it's going to help hopefully the coronavirus. We wanted to find some for research, but some of the charities aren't out yet. First responders and stuff like that. That always helps.
Hmm.
I don't make any money on the T-shirts or anything like that, so I'm not doing it for the money on my end.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So just to wrap up, do you have any more advice for people who are thinking or already have an online business?
Yeah, I mean, give it a try. The advice I would do is take some things like maybe around your house or some things that, like I've met so many people that have like they go to thrift shops and Goodwill and different places where they can pick things up extremely cheap and then they actually resell them and they make a pretty good living with it.
Hmm.
I would just start with a couple items or a couple things around your house that maybe you don't use. Maybe they're just sitting around. Maybe go onto eBay or something and just
Hmm.
post a couple of them, or go onto Mercari or any of those sites, and just post a couple and see if they sell, and then keep doing it, and then take that experience and try to make it positive and try to figure out how to duplicate it. And we started off with literally 5 printers, and I think we have probably about 20,000 of them in our facility. So
Wow.
it's a big job.
It is a big job. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was super valuable, and I'm very glad you shared this with us, Danny. I want to wish you all the best so that the business keeps going, and I think everything is going to go online. So there's
You too.
definitely a future there.
In Polish, I'm going to say dziękuję bardzo.
Yes, I forgot to mention Danny. Danny used to live in Poland for a few months, and his Polish is actually very very impressive, which is super rare because Polish is like the fifth most difficult language in the world. And he was just making me laugh before the interview with his capability to not just order beers but also count stuff,
Yeah,
which
I
is
learned
very
quite a bit
difficult.
over there, and I love the culture. It's very awesome.
Thank you so much. Um, Thank you so much, and guys, I hope you liked it. If you did, share this interview, share it for inspiration, share it for hope. And Danny is very much willing to help you out. So if you have any questions, we will post some contact information, and he's willing to help you out if you're just starting at this moment. And as you can see, he's a fantastic guy, and look forward to my next interview. This is Alex Tomaszewska and Daniel Gallagher. Bye.
You too. Take care, Papa.
Papa.